The greatest of all time? Definitely not. Hi guys, this is Farhad and welcome back to my channel Popcorn Reviews. If you're new to this channel, then please smash that subscribe button now, and as a video ritual, remember to like and comment on the video. Liking and commenting helps fuel the YouTube algorithm. And today, the film that we are going to be discussing is the much awaited, much anticipated Tamil film called The Greatest of All Time, starring Thalapathy Vijay. And I have absolutely been a fan of Thalapathy Vijay and the kind of films that he does, although in the commercial space that is there, but they are generally fun, frivolous, and more on entertainment, so to say, that are there. And with that anticipation, I went in to watch the greatest of all time, the film that was the greatest of all time earlier today. And I came out with mixed feelings this time. I remember watching Leo, that I'd absolutely loved, and I was expecting a similar kind of a carnage, but it was a kind of a middling entertainer for me. So, but coming to the story and screenplay, and I'll keep it very brief with the story, just to avoid any spoilers that are there. The story follows an agent, a special officer of the anti-terrorist squad, who returns back to his field work for a dangerous mission. And does he or does he not, stall the bad guys, is what forms the rest of the film. And the writing here, I think, was a little lazy and relying a lot more on the fan service that is there. This is not to say that the film was not watchable at all. It was entertaining to an extent. But there was a little more fan service than what I had actually signed up for. Now, when you're, entering a Thalapathy Vijay film, you know that you are going to be served those fan service tropes that are there. Whether it's an item number or it's over the top action, all that you have signed up for, and all of that is there in the film. But there still isn't that, that knockout punch that you would say that is required. That, I think, is missing here. I did like the screenplay in the first hour though, and that is when the drama chooses to be grounded. When I say grounded, I mean the drama is believable. Even with the action sequences, even with the fan service, the drama is believable in the first hour, in which, after that introductory montage sequence that is there, that flashes Thalapathy on the big screen, you are introduced to the protagonist and his characters, who, are field agents of an anti-terrorist squad living in New Delhi, but disguised as members of the tourism department. And there are a few comic sequences at the start, especially one comic sequence that is a quick flashback, so to say, in which the protagonist, which is Thalapathy, which is in the middle of a mission, and he gets a call as a reminder for the groceries from his wife. I think it's quite funny, and this is what I mean by fan service. It's innocent, it's still there, but it still doesn't deviate from the main goal that is there in the first hour. So even when the action shifts from New Delhi to a foreign land twice in the first hour, you still are invested in the drama. There's an elaborate action sequence that is there that actually entices you and makes for an incredible watch. It was entertaining at the end of the day that is there, the first hour that is there. The issue that was there, I wouldn't call it an issue in the first hour. It was still, proceeding the way it should. There were there was a twist, you can say, but it was a predictable twist at the end of the day. But before that, the sequence that was there, I was a little more forgiving with that sequence, in which there's this motorcycle that absolutely rushes through a underground metro station that is there. I was a little forgiving given the sequence of events that were before that. So although the events were predictable, they were entertaining in the first hour, and I thought, oh, the second hour now is set up nicely for my curiosity to rise with. But the curse of the second hour did strike, and it did strike to a point that it just about became watchable. I mean, I'm not saying it's not watchable, I'm not saying it's a train wreck, absolute train wreck. It is watchable at the end of the day, but I did get a feeling that the writers were trying a little too hard in the second hour that is there. The second hour, in which it was resorting a lot to the fan service that is there. So there is a murder, there is a song, there's a murder, there's a song, and this chain keeps on repeating. So it just adds, minutes to the drama, which eventually leads to an exhausting runtime of 3 hours that is there. And I think that was the drawback also. You as a viewer, you're not quite settled in the drama in the second hour because of these abrupt breaks and the fan services that are there. And at one point I did double check on the film, was it the greatest of all time, or was it Race 3, with the kind of twists that they were showing, the twists that were there and then were reverted. A lot was happening in the second hour, and not everything did land as well as it should have, you can say. And so I did like a little montage of the CSK and Tala Dhoni at the end. Dhoni is my favorite, the greatest of all time for me. So I did like that tribute that was provided to him. But the staging at the end again was also fan service. When you have the protagonist Thalapathy Vijay riding a motorcycle on the edge of the roof of Chepauk Stadium, you know that, it's just fan service. And at one point I was more interested in what is happening in the match that is there, as opposed to the main plot that was unfolding against the backdrop of the match. And I knew that the main plot is going to take care of itself, given you have Thalapathy Vijay at the forefront. So I think that was that. It was a mixed bag for me, the screenplay that was there, and it made for a decent, okay watch. It was entertaining, it was watchable, but then nothing more, nothing less. It was just about that. Coming to the technical aspects, the dialogues, the music, and the direction, I felt the dialogues went well with the mood of the drama that is there, and that made for a good watch. Music is good, but it has foot tapping numbers, but it's not memorable. You remember Leo, the songs that are there, I still listen to them, but this was not memorable. As same was the case with the BGM also. Again, not memorable. It did not really elevate the action sequences that were there. The action sequences, by the way, are very well choreographed, and I did like the use of AI as a technical aspect to modulate the voice of the younger version of the protagonist that is there, and I like that introduction in the screenplay. But other than that, BGM was pretty average. I did like the cinematography, though. The use of drone shots did add to the intensity of the drama, and it made for a good watch. The editing, I've always had an editing issue in a Venkat Prabhu film, and editing was a little random here, in which the action sequences, if they are fast cuts and abruptly cut, I feel that the impact is diluted instead of a complete overhaul of an action sequence in which it's done in a single movement. That would have a better impact. Remember what happened with Kill, the Hindi film Kill. I think that is a benchmark. You can't keep editing the action sequences that are there, and I think that slightly diluted the impact. Director Venkat Prabhu does a good job in the first hour, but then he overcompensates in the second hour. So overall, the direction is it's just about decent here. It was more to cater to the fan service that is there, and I was missing Lokesh Kanagraj here, in which fan service was there in Leo, but it was well integrated in the film. Here, the fan service overhauled the screenplay that was there, and I think that was the major difference between GOAT and Leo. Coming to the performances, I felt the performances are good, decent, but none of them have a real character arc, and all have to play with binary emotions here, which is pretty much what I'd signed up for. I mean, there's no complaint here, although I did feel the women characters were non-existential here. They had very little to do. Meenakshi Chaudhary or Leila or even Sneha, all of them, they were good, they were okay, but I mean, they had very little to do. I felt even Jairam, Prabhudeva, and Prashant, I think they did a good job, but in their limited capacities. The different shades of their characters that are there were okay, decent. Mohan, I think, was very stereotypical as the villain, with a beard that is there, and it was barely intimidating, which basically meant, even by the way, Yogi Babu was just about okay, that entire comic sequence I think was overstretched and it didn't really contribute eventually after a point, which means this was a one man show. It was Thalapathy Vijay all the way in his dual views that are there, dual acts that are there. I think he did a wonderful job, catering to the fan service and ensuring that you at least have a good time. I think he really knows how to play to the viewers and play to the galleries, and I think he did a good job. Having said that, I did think that the mid credit scene completely changed the dynamics of the film, and I think that was something that wasn't required. I think the story could have been wrapped up, but that is just about me. The cameos, though, are interesting. I think the cameos are good. Also, the meta references that were there in the character, it's almost like a homage to the earlier films of Vijay. Thalapathy Vijay, I think, was good addition. So overall, I felt that The Greatest of All Time is a middling entertainer. I wouldn't completely write it off saying it's bad. It's above average. It's good to above average. You can say it's anywhere between that, based on your taste that is there. But it's definitely not, and I'm saying definitely not in quotes because you know why. Definitely not. The greatest of all time in terms of the writing that is there. So I think that's about it. It's pretty much entertaining and a decent one time watch, you can say, as far as I was concerned. If you have signed up for Thalapathy Vijay, you know you're going to have fan service, so you know your taste, and accordingly you can opt for the film or not. And so if you're liking this video, please smash that like button, comment on what did you make of the film The Greatest of All Time. Also, if you'd like to read my full review of the film, it's available on my site, Popcorn Reviews with a double S, the link of which is in the description box below. Also, deviating from the topic, throw some recommendations also, and I'll get to those soon. That is there. Also, ask your friends to subscribe to the channel, share this video with them, and let's grow this Digi family together. Follow me on different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. I do not end up making a video on everything that I watch, but I do write a lot. All information is present on my site, Popcorn Reviews with the double S, and on my social media handle, so ensure you leave a follow there as well. I'll see you soon with another video. Till then, take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for your love and support. Cheers.